Oi! Welcome to chapter 12 of my Fire Emblem 6 Low Turn Count playthrough. This map is the first one that splits our army in two armies, and obviously Roy is in the one furthest away from the boss. There is two treasure rooms anyway, and we want to visit both, so having two teams works out pretty well. This also means that we need to start distributing keys, and we only have one thief, so we will give our three remaining door keys to Noah, Shanna, and Zealot. The other side objective to get here is to recruit Ray, the shaman near the boss room. And in order to do that, we deployed Lou, as he's the only unit left in our team that can recruit him. Now, in order to clear this map fast, we'll send most of our cavalry with Slalom on the right side, so they can reach the boss and kill it as soon as possible. So we'll be left with the objective to bring Roy as close to them as possible, so they can meet and drop him in the boss room. Shin, Sol, and Lilna are here once again for XP grinding. Sol got to level 10 on the previous chapter, so we'll promote him right away. He now has a B rank in staff, and is only 16 weapon XP away from A rank, which is still 16 staff usage. He also now has 14 magic, but that's still not enough. He will need to have 18 magic by chapter 14X in order to save a turn, and he won't reach that by just spamming staves. So on top of using staves every turn, he will also have to face combat in enemy phase and kill as many enemies as possible to get to level 7 Bishop in 4th chapter. Very reasonable goal. So while this happened, Shin got a 13% crit to kill the fighter with his short bow, and got a perfect level but luck, which was 350 random numbers away. Everyone else on the left side will just go forward. On the right side, Zealot will open the door for Noah, and will then be rescue dropped thanks to Shanna and Lalum as far as possible. Noah and Marcus will then rescue drop Lalum further ahead to save a few more tiles on next turn, as we want to use our Dancer every turn to save as many tiles as possible. This enemy phase doesn't have much going on, as our front line is our strongest unit. Strongest? I'm not so sure about that. Indeed, we now have to deal with Lalum, whom we will want to be as close to the front line as possible to save turns. But at the same time, every time she's attacked, you can treat that as a chance of death. Thankfully, the bandit that attacks her has just no accuracy here, so it's all good. The other annoying thing to deal with on this chapter is that Sleep Staff Priest, who is going to try and sleep our units every turn. Status Staff accuracy is only on one errand, which works out at our disadvantage here, as Roy has an 11% chance to get hit by this one. On turn 2, we'll get 2 level ups. One on Roy, who will kill the knight blocking the way of Sue to the boss room, getting a strength, speed, defense and res level up. The other level up is Lilna, who will kill the archers through the Balistrarias and get the perfect level. She'll actually get to kill every enemy there. Azor is obviously on chest duty here, and will get all chests in the treasure room on the left. The Eclipse Shaman is no threat at all, as he will keep on spamming this low accuracy tome instead of trying to block and kill our thief. Walt will then rescue Roy to prepare for a rescue chain on next turn. Sol will then heal Lilina with the physics staff we acquired in chapter 7, and Shin and Sue will drop him in range of the second Balistraria to kill everything there on enemy phase. On the right side, Lalum will dance Marcus while Shanna and Zealot will rescue drop her, which will set all 3 promoted units to be in a position only reachable in 3 turns without Dancer. The idea is to first dance a unit that will take the second promoted mounted unit, and on the second turn, then the third one who will transfer the Dancer will be taken and dropped by one of the 2 other units. I'm not as good as Don to find the strategy names, so if you have good ones in the comments, feel free to share that, as we will use that strategy again in the future. The enemy phase here is pretty simple again. We need Sue to dodge the 11% Sleep Staff again, but also this time we need Sol to hit a 4% crit on the Shaman that will attack him in order to 1-round KO it and get more EXP. Funnily enough, I didn't realize that was a thing until the next chapter, as you could very well do this strat without the critical and burning any RNG. Turn 3 is the beginning of Roy's rescue chain. Vol gives Roy to Sol, Sol gives to Sue, and Sue can go forward again. On the way, Sol got to physics Shin for XP, and Sue to attack the Shaman with her longbow, which will allow Sol to kill it on enemy phase without a crit. Lilina kills yet another archer, and Astor gets the Excalibur Tome. The other chest contains a Flux Tome and will follow on next turn. Shin will place himself in the doorway of the treasure room, not so much to block the shaman, but mostly to bait the sleep priest to move forward so Lilina can kill it on next turn. On the right side, we want to end on very specific positions with Slalom, so we can both kill the boss and seize with Roy at the same time. This mostly requires to shield Slalom from the 4 bandits and warrior in the second to last room, so we'll do that with Marcus and Shanna, who got to open the boss room door thanks to her Canto ability. Before we end turn, Noah will take one of the 2 chests that we want on the right, our second Elysian Whip. The next enemy phase was much more unlikely to get than the previous ones and required 732 random numbers to burn. And the best part about it isn't really what we needed to man it. Remember how much trouble Marcus had to kill enemies lately? It seemed like he could only do it with a low % crit. Well, it turns out it's not really Marcus' fault, he just didn't have a good weapon equipped. Now that he has a steel sword, he can easily kill off any of the fighters that will attack him at close range. Old man still has some moves. The reason we had to burn RNG was for Soul's level, as he kills the last remaining enemies in the Ballista area, which is perfect. Shin also has to dodge a 41% chance to be put to sleep, and thankfully succeeds, as this allows us to keep that level up on Soul. On the final turn, we need to finish Roy's rescue chain. Sue will kill off the fighter, blocking her way with a 3% Iron Sword crit. Now, Marcus can take Roy and go to the boss room, where Zealot can drop him. Meanwhile, Volt said he wasn't done helping, so he gets to pull off a 6% crit on the Sleep Stabs Priest, with a short bow that Soul took from Shin earlier. This doesn't quite kill him yet, but that's just because we wanted to feed it to our girl Lilina, who gets a perfect level for that, which required to burn 505 random numbers. Noah gets our first brave weapon, the Brave Bow, a very good weapon that allows to do 2 attacks in one and that Sue will make a good use of. We'll miss out on a blue gem and a Lance River there, but we would only get them for extra money, while the whip and Brave Bow will have some more direct uses. Lalum will then dance Roy so he can seize, after Shanna 1 rounds the scary Manaki boss, which requires a 4% Silver Lance crit. We could have actually gotten the crit without burning anything considering the current string of numbers, but Shanna gets a level up and we want a better one, which required to burn 2,842 random numbers. And with that, the chapter is cleared. Wait, weren't we supposed to do one more side objective here? It probably wasn't that important anyway. And since we finished the chapter in less than 15 turns, we get to go to the Gaiden chapter next. See you next time for chapter 12X.